Alrighty, guys, we are live. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome back. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. We're diving back into the Nancy Guthrie case. Title of today's live stream: Two brothers claim they know where Nancy Guthrie is. What's going on here? How many of you have seen these guys before? Okay, so some of you have never seen them. We do have a delay on the chat because today we're going to be focusing heavily on the chat and hearing what you guys have to say. Usually it's going by so quick we can't even make any sense of it. And when I do get to your comments, it's already like 10 minutes behind and way out of context. So let me share my screen. And this is where it all began for me. Now we're going to be talking about Servando Sanchez Hernandez and his brother Arturo. All right, let's go to the chat real quick, see who we have in the building. Doug, welcome in. Can't wait. Hernandez brothers. Well, both of their names are not Hernandez, but they are brothers according to Facebook. Kim, not your cup of tea. Welcome. Alley Cat's mom. Why are they not revealing and getting some reward money? It's a good question. So this is the first time I seen this guy's name. Servando Sanchez Hernandez. Apparently he lives in Kentucky. I spoke to him momentarily yesterday. We text and on Facebook Messenger. He didn't have a whole lot to say. As soon as I mentioned Nancy's name, ghost. So he gives some coordinates here. And I do have that marked on the map, so I'll pull that up. Might be easier to wrap your mind around if we can just kind of see it on a map, and then we'll talk about the information. Hold on a second. Let's do directions from there to Nancy's home. $11 minutes. And what's really interesting about this location is you could basically drive in here. It wouldn't be that hard, really. So if you follow the wash all the way back to, through private property, I'm assuming this whole wash is probably private property. And then right here to where you would most likely enter into the wash. You got people all over the place right here. But looks like you can get closer. So this is where you would enter right here. Not over there. Forget that other one. Look, those are full-size truck tires. Sorry, I'm still kind of at the tail end of being sick. You guys know that part where it's all clearing out? Yeah, so I'm dealing with that. But yeah, if you kidnapped her and you're in a vehicle, you could just drive out here, and they have manholes out here. So there's a huge sewer system running in and out of here. I'm assuming that's whose tire tracks these are, people servicing that kind of stuff. What's going on, Nina? Good to see you. Rock Prophet, howdy. Sherry, good evening. Damn kayaker. Those damn kayakers. Never get the notification. Make sure you hit that bell. Hit the bell icon. Elizabeth, good morning. Never seen them. Colleen, I'm here for it. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. London, big up London, Miss Dog Lover. Jolene from Cali says never. Carol Brock. Driving in a blue car? Don't know. Are you still on the blue Malibu with the door open, girl hanging out, screaming for help? Nano says is not connected. Smudger52 from the UK. Big up to the UK. Shout out to the other side of the rock. Jody Lynn, good to see you again. Top of the morning. All right, we're going to bring it to you. And honestly, I'm hoping you guys have more for me. I'm going to give you everything I did. I did all my journalism. I did all my investigation. I spoke to two of the neighbors. The two that are directly here, they're both doctors. One is really old. He's retired. He's not going back there, but he said he can talk to his neighbor or a friend of his that's a little bit younger that could go back there and take some video for me. And then the other guy, he's much younger. He seemed busy. He was really, really nice. But he says he doesn't go back there at all. He doesn't know. He can't give me a description. And he's going out of town, so he won't be able to be helpful. Both very, very nice. But the younger guy was extremely busy. I mean, what do you expect? They don't got time for, my shit. Both of them doctors. Good. Thank you. Appreciated the time. But what I was looking for was maybe a description of what we found when I went down there. Let me pull up my video and I'll show you the manhole. Pretty heavy cover. You're going to need a tool definitely to get that off. So give me a minute. I'm going to my YouTube channel real quick. I think that's the easiest way to do it. All right. Nancy Guthrie case, boots on the ground. Okay, here it is. So I think this is the beginning part. I think we need to go more towards the end and where I'm kind of searching the area. There it is. And you can drive back here too. And I don't think anybody's popped these manhole covers up. You can hear the water rushing down there. So I was looking for something like this. I don't know if you can see in there.
Well, I do hear running water.
And I don't think you could pick that up on the microphone I was using. But yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, if something like that was back here. But those guys don't know. Maybe later I'll get a call or a text from this guy over here. They don't know Nancy Guthrie. They said they don't have a connection to Nancy Guthrie, and they don't have a connection to the two brothers. So Servando Sanchez Hernandez, and like I said, we're not here to accuse anybody. I'm just basically giving you what I grabbed. A lot of this, it was first shown on X, his name, and then I went down a rabbit hole. Like I just went, it was like fly on shit. So I was hoping you guys could be a little bit more helpful. I spoke with him briefly. He was like, hello. And then I was like, hi, this is Patrick with Sleuth Intuition. And he's like, hola. I don't speak English. And I was like, that's okay. And I started talking to him in Spanish a little bit. And I was using Google Interpret to help me a little bit for like the words that I didn't know. And then he was like, well, you sound like a scammer. And he said that in Spanish. And I said, no, I'm a reporter. And I have a YouTube channel. And he goes, oh, yeah? Well, what do you want with me? And I said, Nancy Guthrie. And before that, I kind of did the strategic pause. So I reached out to him, and then I could see that he was very curious. And then I just stopped commenting. I didn't want to seem too eager. And then sure enough, boom, message after message. Boom, 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 like maybe 6 or 7. And then that's when I told him, and then quickly we got to the name Nancy, and then I didn't hear from him again. Reached out to his brother. No response there. So apparently he lives in Kentucky. He had a home recently, as of listed as 2023. He could possibly even still be there here in Phoenix. So that's interesting. Remember, I told you guys my gut told me somewhere between Tucson and Phoenix. So there could be a connection there, and still be connected to like the cartel, or maybe somebody with the grudge. But early on, I was even thinking possibly maybe mental health issues. What do you think about somebody just kind of losing their grip on reality for whatever reason, becoming obsessed with Nancy because she's a public figure, maybe even through seeing her on TV, and whatever going on in their mind, maybe it's some type of magical thinking, religiously based, like I'm the chosen one, or if I don't do this, God's will not be done. I'm doing God's work type of thought process. And maybe he felt for the greater good of humanity, he had to do this to Nancy for whatever reason. But yeah, if you guys want to pull up his Facebook and kind of see, that's kind of what's going on there, you guys. Virgo, what's up with the super sticker? Damn. All right, guys, it's official. We're sponsored. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Virgo Alex, longtime Sleuth Crew member. Thank you so much. Laura B, Miami PD. Joan Norman. Good morning from Florida. Big up, shout out. Florida is in the building. Because good to see you. I am unsure of this theory. If you see other pics of him, he has a phone like from 2009 and the date is touched up to be last year. That's what I'm saying. His right now, his Facebook is public. And if you basically type in his name in Google and look for anything that just from like today, within the last 24 hours, and it'll pull up anything that he's commented on, and it's all weird stuff. And I'm going to show it to you. It's all very strange. This may not be political. This may not be Jeffrey Epstein. It may not be fetish goth people. It may not be Luke. It may not be Carlos. It may not be any of these people. It could be somebody with his own strange motive that won't make sense to anybody. We always talk about how murder is just weird. Like we shouldn't even be trying to think about it through our own mind. We have to think outside the box. Try to think through the eyes of a crazy person, man or woman. And try to understand the affliction. And I'm not an expert, by the way. I'm not former law enforcement or anything. I'm just a guy who's been doing true crime for about 6 years now, doing a lot of research, talking with a lot of the experts, right? Former law enforcement, homicide detectives, private investigators, doctors, lawyers, nurses, psychologists. And I'm just with all of my experience, these are just the things that I've learned. So it's just my opinion, but that's where it comes from. Lena, welcome in. Kaz bless. Ring camera one had 2 backpacks. Yeah, we have that video. I think we'll reserve a spot at the end where we just kind of pick up things and talk about random items. I feel like Nancy's case is going cold. It's kind of a gross feeling. B Rosa. Thank you. Right back at you. Thank you. Appreciate you. BT Fano. If they do know where she is, then why is anything happening? Wouldn't she have already been found? You just imagine if everybody thought that, BTF. Imagine if everybody in the world simultaneously thought exactly what you thought. Lynn, good afternoon. Slot puppy. I was gonna say pit bull for the bald brother. So just curious to why this dude's giving coordinates. I don't even think it's connected, most likely, right? Because he's kind of he seems like he's going through some mental health stuff, perhaps. Some very strange postings. Unless that's just how he rolls, I'm not quite sure. It's like ultra religious stuff. Very ritualistic, in my opinion. But this is very specific, and I wouldn't even have bothered with it unless I didn't stumble upon what his brother was saying online. And that's what, if I can't tie things together, I'm not even going to bother sharing it or trying to, clickbait you guys on anything. But honestly, this is interesting. All right, so he gives the coordinates. Those are the ones that I showed you. 47 feet below the surface, structure is reinforced with lead composite lining. This is why local authorities' infrared failed. Humanoid Category 4 hybrid Ayers Group on site. Like, what is that? That sounds like some Phil Schneider stuff. Some Bob Lazar. Some bizarre Bob Lazar, Bob Schneider. She's alive but seems sedated. And that's the feeling that I had, which is very strange that he would say that. I always thought that she could be okay and that somebody's taking care of her. I know it seems far-fetched, but if you're pre-planning this, you must, and this is like the best outcome in my opinion, right? That she's being cared for, taken care of, maybe a little uncomfortable, but she's getting her medication. She's even getting some sunlight from time to time, but she's in a place where that nobody can get to her. And maybe they're just being strategic, waiting for things to die down, and then they'll just release her, or they'll try to reach out to the family privately. Like, here's a photograph of your mother. Maybe it'll probably be like a Polaroid or something, a fingerprint, maybe in her own blood, something like a drop of blood or some type of DNA hair. That's the best outcome. And that she is in like some type of a location where there's not a whole lot of people around. If you drive from Tucson to Phoenix the back way, like stay off the highway like I do, you see all of these huge properties with these private drives. I mean, Nancy could be on any at any one of these properties. Not to mention the 100 washes and the bridges along there. So if I had the time to search, I think that's where I would go. I would go right to each one of those bridges. Because covering true crime, even when there's a dismemberment, it's typically along a path, right? They'll dump a bag here, and it's usually near a wash because in their mind they think they're really smart, right? Oh, I'll put it here and it'll wash away. But typically it'll get caught up maybe just on the other side of the bridge or whatever it is, the culvert or call it whatever it is, that they always want to dump it near a wash. And oftentimes there's a pull off near washes, right? They have their anchor point and they say, okay, we're going to bring our victim to a dump site. They drive maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then they say something like, all right, this is far enough, right? This is far enough from us to point at us, and I'm a lazy piece of shit, so this is good enough, right? We're out so far out of town, nobody's going to suspect anything. But what they don't realize is that every decision that they're making is creating an image of who they are as a suspect. And that's the most important thing that I've learned about becoming like an amateur investigator. You gather as much information as you can, and you don't worry about connecting the pieces. You just try to cover everything. And then eventually this picture of something just kind of starts to appear out of thin air. And we've been right a lot of times. We were right about the Tepe murders. I think the only one that we got wrong was the Karen Reed conviction. But I think that's how court should be, right? Every time you go to trial, if you can't prove it 100%, if there's any shadow of a doubt, whether you know it in your gut or not that they're guilty, that's how it should go. right? Whether I believe Karen Reed is guilty or not, she should have been let go. So I think I was more surprised that actual justice happened or that presumptuous justice didn't happen. But I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But I digress. Okay, so that's where it all began with me and this person. But first thing I did, right, looked up the coordinates. Welcome in, Laura. Blind Squirrel, what up? Good to see you as always. Welcome in. Laney. Is my audio working? Hopefully. Hybrids. Alive but sedated. What the hell? Yeah, exactly. And I had that kind of feeling about that. So before we dive into this, I want to ask you guys a few questions about another theory that I'm working on that kind of stemmed off of this. And also what they were doing, the work they were doing with the pacemaker, trying to pick up those frequencies. So I want to get your guys' feeling about this.
Iconic community of Sam Hughes neighborhood, located right next to the University of Arizona.
All right. So I don't know if that music's going to hit me with a copyright, but what this guy's basically doing is he's talking about a large property near the University of Phoenix that has a bomb shelter. Now, for whatever reason, he goes to the property, but he doesn't really show the bomb shelter. So it kind of sent me down a rabbit hole, which led me to this.
1960s.
Your attention, please.
Americans at the dawn of a new decade.
This is a red alert.
The fear of nuclear war
Nearest shelter area.
would soon drive some underground.
If you built a shelter, you became the man of reason, the man who was protecting his family and doing his civic duty.
Today, you may be able to dig up this chapter of American history.
We're standing in my fallout shelter in the backyard of my house.
Okay, so this is John Sims.
In the backyard of my house.
But in September 1961, the possibility of nuclear war wasn't something that could be ignored.
In 1961, the tensions between the former Soviet Union and the United States had escalated.
How to survive fallout, delivered to mailboxes across the country, illustrated on the pages of Life magazine with a letter from President John F. Kennedy.
The security of our country and the peace of the world are the objectives of our policy. But in these dangerous days, when both objectives are threatened, we must prepare for all eventualities.
It wasn't the first time Americans were introduced to fallout shelters. And it wouldn't be the last. How-to guides and emergency supplies from the Cold War era now on display in the Tucson home of John Sims. The rural Metro fire captain amassed a collection of civil defense artifacts after discovering his own artifact 2 years ago.
I kind of thought it might have been a real cheap job, like a storm drain just thrown into the yard with a little bit of the steps or something. But it turned out to be a lot cooler than that.
Decades before Sims rebuilt the staircase, the old Pueblo played a pivotal role during the Cold War. To learn more about that, we went underground and back in time to a National Historic Landmark. Yvonne Morris.
All right, I think I had a part 2 to this. It goes back to John Sims. So we're going to skip all this, and we're going to go back to him. Because he looks interesting. He kind of even matches the description. Right? We don't want to try... we're not trying to say it's him or anything. I'm just saying, like, it could be anybody.
In 58 seconds. Now, though, the launch sequence is just a simulation, and the Titan II has a new mission. Once top secret, you can see it up close and learn about its part in the Cold War. The nuclear war so many had feared never happened.
I'm getting no reading on the Geiger counter. I think everything is fine.
Once a way to shield your family from radioactive fallout, the underground shelters of America, relics of our past.
A lot of people said I should turn it into a wine cellar or a cigar bar, or I thought it would be cool to host some poker games down here.
Okay, when he said that, it reminded me of like a movie. The Nancy Guthrie kidnapping reminds me of a movie, a script. Reminded me of the movie Ransom a lot. Kind of something you might come up with a group of guys in a bunker, drinking, playing cards.
To host some poker games down here. I think it would be a unique buy-in.
Everything looks good, dear.
It's been said only about 3% of the American population built their own fallout shelters. Would they have actually worked?
What influenced a lot of people
In comes the actual elderly woman.
Fallout shelters. Would they have actually worked?
what influenced a lot of people about whether to build the shelter is, okay,
So if you were pre-planning, right, these are some of the boxes that you would want to cross off or check, right? Well, where are we going to put Nancy? Well, we can put her in the bomb shelter. Might even be the reason you would come up with a plan like this. Well, what about the radio frequency from her pacemaker? Well, they won't be able to pick it up. What are those called? Ferency cages, or I think it's something like that. Where it blocks the signal. I may be pronouncing that wrong. Here, let me Google that real quick. Something like that. Faraday, I think. Let's see. Faraday cage. Something. Okay, yeah. Faraday cage is an enclosure made of conductive material like copper or aluminum. And I also mentioned that I said lead before, but basically, yeah, Faraday cage could have been used to get her across the border also. Right? Also cased in lead from the X-ray machines. An enclosure made of conductive material like copper or aluminum that blocks external static and non-static electric fields. So if you build a bomb shelter and you have all this cement and iron and things like that, that's what it's going to do. It's going to create a Faraday cage, in my opinion. So if they were looking for the radio frequency on her pacemaker, they definitely wouldn't have been able to find it there.
well, if we're
Elizabeth, they are probably just talking, never know. Yeah, it's probably just talk, but could be true. Nancy is originally from Kentucky. Is she really? Because he's living in Kentucky. You guys can hear me, right? Tell me in the chat that you guys can hear me. Because I can see that my microphone is working. Here, let me zoom all the way down to see. Let me know in the chat. Yes? Okay, perfect. Some of you might be having some problems. So what do you guys think of that fallout shelter theory? It led me down a mini rabbit hole, which brought me to Suzanne Kaplan. And this is public information. I'm not trying to dox anybody or anything. You know, none of this is private information, or I'm not trying to accuse anybody. I'm just showing you where my investigation is taking me. And it's an amateur one at that. So keep that in mind. So it says here, Suzanne Kaplan stands in the bomb shelter beneath her Foothills, Tucson home Friday, August 20th, 2004. Her Catalina Foothills home, which was built in 1949, the shelter was added in 1961. Now, maybe I didn't save it on maps here, but I can probably show you. Oh yeah, it's easy to find because there's a landmark right there. But I won't give it away. So this is Nancy's home here. Making sure I didn't lose it. Yeah, somewhere over here. I have the address, but I'm not going to put it up on here. Yeah, somewhere like right, maybe it's a little bit further. Yeah, okay, right here. Somewhere in this area. I mean, that's very close. It's like a mile away. Not even, maybe. Let's see. Oh, just over a mile. So I don't know what you guys think about that theory. Maybe we'll explore it, maybe we won't. Maybe it's not realistic. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Excuse me. But that's what this reminds me of. 47 feet below the surface, structure is reinforced with lead composite lining. This is why local authorities' infrared failed. And I don't think they were using infrared. Maybe. I don't know. This was like an AI video from a picture. It like morphed him into a vampire. That's not his actual teeth. I think this was the photo he used. And he turned it into like an AI video for Halloween. Lottie, ever since the neighbor mentioned all the bunkers to JLR, I thought she could be in one and nobody would ever know. I mean, to me, we have to kind of, if you're going to reverse engineer a crime, what's going to make you confident avoid all these different methods of detection? Right? Maybe you have a bunker. Like, who has a bunker? And what's going to give you probable cause to come search my bunker? You know what I mean? Like, hey, Joe Smith has a bunker. Let's go search it. No, you can't search my bunker. I mean, is it weird to go and search everybody's bunker? I don't know. You ain't searching bunker. I'd rather have like a reporter. You know, yeah, I'll let a reporter come down here with me. Good to see you, Jari. Okay, so once again, this is where the coordinates lead you, right here to the wash. And some of the washes that I searched had like sewer systems going through, and you can hear the running water flowing. And you could drive a truck back here easily. Just follow the wash. Get out in the middle of the night with a shovel. But this guy's talking nonsense, though. He's not saying that Nancy's buried here. Listen to what he said. Humanoid. Do you guys know what that is? Category 4 hybrid. He's talking like a reptilian or like a human alien hybrid. Yes, Ryan, very close. Couple miles. TJ Wheeler, what's up? Dep Longo. Timeline shows 2 pacemakers spiked. Could that be heart attack and caused events to change with the perp? Send that to me. sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Smincy, what up? If that post was from 2004, new homeowners. No, I know that's what you said, but trust me, I already beat you to it. Check this out. I wouldn't have mentioned it if I hadn't done my homework. Suzanne Kaplan goes all the way back. March 2000. I like where your mind is going, though. I like where your head is at, for sure. Patrick, how did you come across this? I think I found it on X. This is literally the screenshot I took from X. So it was on something like a post. Somebody did a video about it. And he commented. All right, so you do a little bit of digging. Here's another image of him. And then somebody posted a message on X that they've also spoken with him. So this is what they had to say. I also thought you might be part of Thrones to the Realm. Says, I don't expect you to believe me, but I'm connected to something not on this world. See, this makes me think like this dude might be connected and might have a weird motivation that only he would understand. Or he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about and it's all gibberish. Well, when you find out that he has a brother named Arturo Hernandez, and like I said here, I'm not here to accuse anybody. This is just where the investigation has gone to this point. Nancy's case seems to be going cold on our end, right? For the alternative media investigators, we might be dealing with a cold case. We're still working on the fetish theory. Like I said, we're going to talk with DJ Mojito. Hopefully, we're going to do a little bit of ambush journalism on Friday, and we're going to go hang out outside of his shows here in Phoenix. So we'll be right smack dab in the hood. And you guys know I'm comfortable there. So let's see what Arturo says. She is buried not too far from her home in the desert. There are 3 suspects in this case, 2 men and a woman. But unfortunately, not all 3 will be brought to justice. Now, remember what I said early on. As soon as they mentioned that reward of $1 million, what did I ask you guys to do? To find unsolved homicides. recently in or around Tucson. Because if somebody announces a $1 million reward and you have two other people that you're working with, they now may become your worst enemy. So if it becomes survival for you at that point, you're a homicidal, sadistic psychopath, you may just eliminate the threat, right? You guys ain't turning me in. Bang, bang. 3 suspects in this case, 2 men and a woman. One of the men dead, the other woman dead. Boom, probably a couple. Who's this third man? Is he just going about his day, about his life? Or is he online acting like a crazy person? Fake money. Initially, I saw this on X. Can't remember where exactly. But apparently it's a screenshot from a video that somebody was making about it. It says Hernandez's social security number is registered to Arizona. Multiple Arizona addresses are listed for him. His career profession is associated with real estate. That's not what I show. It shows that he works for Amazon on his Facebook page. And I shared the link for today's live stream. I sent it to him. So he's in the chat. Servando Sanchez Hernandez is here with us right now. I sent him the link. I was hoping that he would kind of come on and want to call in. But I know he's watching. What's up, Ricky? Not even a bunker, a trailer dug in the ground that no one knows is there. Yeah, something. People do that. A lot of unsolved crimes are probably just buried in the ground. Some cases they find vehicles buried. So if you know, don't threaten people with a backhoe, right? If you have people that own a lot of heavy machinery, they'll bury you and your car. Did you see such and such? Yeah, I think so. I think they went that way. I think the bunker theory, well, not that I like the fact that she could be in one. The theory, though, I got you. Yeah, he might be bonkers. So he may not know anything. But this is how I found the guy, Servando Sanchez Hernandez. And then I went down the rabbit hole. Found this photo on his Facebook. These are the coordinates. I've spoken with both neighbors here. Retired doctor, very active, busy doctor, both men, very nice. This doctor will be asking a friend of his if he feels like going and looking and for me. Told him to look for manholes or, a fresh grave. He said, well, I'll let you know. I can't go back there. Both of them, they don't really pay any mind to the wash back there. Very busy people, very nice. Hold on. Looks like we have a super chat here. Deb Longo. She has a question. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate the support. Another sponsor for today's live stream brought to you by Deb Longo 5223. I found she was involved for years with university and was involved with local politics. Was she involved with the University of Arizona? Because this individual, I believe, is a teacher there. If I'm not mistaken. She somehow like either went there or was affiliated there or was a teacher there or something. And she's the one that owns the bunker about a mile away. Yep. Yep. Suzanne's is in the foothills about a little over a mile from her. And people say you can't drive back here, but you can. Like if you're from the desert, you guys know what I'm talking about. These aren't all cactus. These are all just, a lot of these are just bushes you can weave in and out of. Just take your time, you know? What was his name? Wackadoodle before he left with the scrapbook. Oh, yeah. What was that guy's name? Because this is John Sims. He's the guy that said, "Oh, I don't know, I'll turn my bunker, into a poker room." What a good place to come up with a plan, right? You know what you could do with this bomb shelter?
In 58 seconds. Relics of our past.
A lot of people said I should turn it into a wine cellar or a cigar bar, or I thought it would be cool to host some poker games down here. I think.
Ocean's 11, perhaps. Kind of fits the guy's build, too. Yes. Suzanne's is actually right there near Nancy's home. There are a lot of mobile homes around in the desert. It's weird. Some are very sketchy. That's what I'm talking about, Nicole. There's these mobile homes, and they're on private property with gates that they keep closed. It says keep out, and a long private drive that goes way back into the desert. And then you can see like a small trailer surrounded by like shipping containers. You know how many true crimes have led right back to a shipping container? A lot. You could do probably an 8-hour special on crimes connected to shipping containers. JLR investigation. Yeah, what was that guy's name? Can somebody find out? Find out if imagine if it was this guy, John Sims. It doesn't look like him, but he does fit the description. Or the size and the shape. Definitely not the age group that I would have suspected, but you never know. Somebody took Nancy. And whoever did had enough confidence to feel like they were going to get away with it. The bunker theory gets a 6 out of 10 for creativity. Yeah, we don't really want to be too creative, right? We want to try to stick as close to Occam's razor as we can. But it's something to do with confidence. What's giving this person the confidence to do this and actually be successful? Like, you can be on drugs and be confident. You can be drunk and have that liquid courage. I'm talking about somebody with technical skills and knowledge who may not be a career criminal and might have a political grudge. But like I said, that's for another time. I just wanted to kind of touch that theory with you guys. And if you think it has legs, we'll bring it back. But let's get back over here to Servando Sanchez Hernandez. Okay, so why do we feel like it matters? Well, I thought he was just a crazy guy until I saw what his brother had to say. Well, how do we know that that's his brother? Because if you go and look at his family, he has it listed right here. He's my brother. So don't take my word for it. So if you thought Servando was crazy, like, what are you talking about? What do you mean she's underground? Why do you have these coordinates? Well, is his brother crazy too? He says she is buried not too far from her home in the desert. That's exactly what Servando said. He said she's buried in the desert. Here's the coordinates. The coordinates lead to a wash with easy access. There are 3 suspects in the case. 2 men and a woman. And this part's kind of chilling. But unfortunately, not all 3 will be brought to justice. It could just be a weird theory. They both could be invested in the case and just talking about it. But it's interesting to hear that. Like, that's very specific. Okay, so verified that they are brothers. Here's another photo of him. Looks like when he was a little bit younger. Lynn B, like you might own an excavating company. Yeah, or anything to do with cement or pigs or things that make people disappear. Think Jimmy Hoffa. I think Nanos is extremely sus. Man, you're way off. Forget about Nanos. If he was in on this, he wouldn't have let the FBI even anywhere near this case. Like James Burke. Remember James Burke in relation to the Long Island serial killer? Man, he was absolutely involved. I guarantee it. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying don't think like that. And I mean, not out of the realm of possibility. I'm just saying, like, there's just no reason to believe that. He's really not doing that bad of a job. He's not. Just because he's not sharing everything with us, trust me, he has a lot more. But he's been right about everything, right? Remember when I told you guys about the gloves? Everybody's getting excited about the gloves. Oh, the gloves, the gloves. And then we did a whole live stream about the millions of professions that use gloves. And then I also asked you guys to do an exercise. Next time you go run errands or you have to go do something where you're out and about, just look around for gloves. And a lot of you said, yes, I did that. And you're right, Sleuth, because I'm fixated on looking for gloves and thinking about gloves. It's not that I'm seeing them. They're just standing out to me now. So just things like that. We want to try to keep our mind on the right path without having tunnel vision, though. You know what I mean? Forget the trees and forget the forest. We're getting on our matrix. Sir Hernandez, if you're here, please call in. Yeah. If you're here, make yourself known. I'll give you a link. Boom, call in and tell us how stupid we are. And then you also put this. I would interrogate the care worker for her heart monitor. And one thing I noticed that everybody that lives around, and I'm talking about every home that surrounds the coordinates that he provided, were doctors. So if they have any kind of relationship to Nancy, that might be a little sus. Maybe, remember, it could be like a love interest or somebody that has a personal grudge against her for whatever reason, or even Savannah. 5,000 piece of gold was stolen from that gem dealer that lives next to Nancy at the Tucson. I don't know if it was that guy. I know it was part of the gem show that he goes to, Damn Kayaker. But I don't know if it was the same guy. Because there's a video. I think I have it. There's a video of the robbery. If I have it handy, I'll play it. And it doesn't appear to be the same guy. But same gem show. Connected to that same gem show. But I could be wrong. Here, let me see if I have it. The reason I recorded the news report was because they had these guys caught on CCTV. And I wanted to see if they matched up with the suspects. Nope, doesn't look like I have it handy. I may have gotten rid of it and just said, you know what, I don't need this. But I do know what you're referring to. You could be right, I'm not sure. I remember thinking the same thing and looking into it for some reason. So Servando says, I would interrogate the care worker for her heart monitor. Maybe that's the woman, right? We have the woman who's connected with the man. And maybe they recruited Servando, or maybe Servando recruited them. Now, this is where all the weird shit starts happening. Gold nanoparticles that heat up and vibrate inside the body up to 138 degrees without damaging the good cells from the laser light at the frequency of light. Here's his brother, Arturo, or Arturo. These brothers know where Nancy Guthrie is. Wouldn't they contact the FBI so they can collect some reward money? Come on, let's find Nancy. Beauty from our Lord estate. What do you mean, come on? Are you saying, come on? Like, yeah, let's keep following this rabbit hole, or like, you're not into it? Nancy worked for the University of Arizona, U of A. Arizona University. Sparky. Yes, just me. He seemed a little strange. Yeah, that's just the beginning. But let me show you something that really kind of blew my mind. This is Arturo. I think he's out of El Paso, Texas. He kind of fits like with the Masked Man, right? The head, he kind of reminds me of Luke. Just kind of has that same head shape and the big neck. Here's some more craziness. They just happen when the timeline has shifted or changed. That's all. These are all comments within like the last week. Has shifted or changed, that's all. Means the universal singularity is fixing our screw-ups, or the screw-ups, like diving into water. Like, to me, this sounds like drugs. But check this out. January 1st, and he doesn't make another post for like 10 days after this. So January 1st at 1:39 a.m. Remember, you guys were trying to bring up the 111 or all this craziness. But this kind of shows like the ritualistic side of things. Wasn't there something else on February 1st? But it's like he's into the numerology, like adding it all up. So very ritualistic. And you can see here he posted on January 1st and then not again until February 10th. Plenty of time to get back to Kentucky. Oh, it looks like we have, what is this? Super sticker from Miss Dog Lover. Thank you. Today's live stream is brought to you by the one and only Miss Dog Lover. Thank you. Bunkers need to be checked. I mean, there isn't that many. Need to go to like these real estate sites and just type in, hey, show me a home in the foothills that has a bomb shelter. I mean, what are they going to say? No? Like, no, you can't search it. Okay. Florida girl, what's up? Cindy Lean is in the building. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, Cindy. 1 out of 3 must have been unalived. Yeah, this is his Facebook here. It is not the end of the world. It's the beginning of a better world. To the 144,000 commander honors your choice in the time of noise. You chose the better way. Oh, you know what else? I found some more recorded voices on that tape player. Hold on. I'm sure it's nothing, but it is interesting. Let me do something real quick with the audio. I haven't had a chance to like edit it or put it together. It'll just take a second. Here, maybe we can just play it right here and not even worry about it. Let me know if you guys can hear this okay.
Now's the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. And also, now's the time for all good women to come to the aid of their country.
So that was on the other side. So on one side you have it was like a marketing class from start to finish. Boom, some marketing class. It was pretty good. Some pretty good stuff. Interesting. Sound like somebody was sitting in their class and they were listening to it. Now flip the tape over and I listened to it for probably maybe like 2 hours. You know, I worked out, I did some things, you know, on my computer and I just let it play. And then out of nowhere, this is all there was on the other side.
Now's the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. And also, now's the time for all good women to come to
Slot
the aid
Puppy
of their
gifted
country.
5. Thank you. Slot Puppy, appreciate it. Here, let's play it again. I interrupted it.
Now's the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. And also, now's the time for all good women to come to the aid of their country.
And then there was also another little piece where they like clicked on it and you can hear some noise in the background. I'm just not quite sure what it says right here. But it's almost as if they accidentally hit the button. So not sure what all this is, but if you guys wanted me to, I just wanted to follow up with all of that. Let me see what else I got here for him. Yeah, I think that might be it. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys have to say about all of this. Kalohi, morning, Sleuth Intuition and crew. Welcome in. Midnight Moon, front door. Judy Bullard, interesting beach. Welcome in. But he'd say, oh, that's what I wanted to do. Here, let's go back to these images. What do you guys think about that? All right, this will probably be our 5-minute warning here. So like I said, I'm leaning more on you guys than you guys should be leaning on me when it comes to these two brothers. See what we can figure out. You know, let's all put our eyes on there. Why would he be saying that? Is he just kind of acting a little crazy right now? Why would his brother say something very similar with even more details? And has anybody really searched this location? And remember early on, they were lifting up the manholes behind Nancy's home. They were looking in like the drainage system that they have back there. Why would they do that? Were they receiving information that wasn't released about where she might be? Like, hey, I heard she was put in the sewer or something like that. Look, you have tire tracks all through here. Why not? Aristocrat. Because I believe that humans deserve a good life on earth without so much oppression. Crime is a type of oppression. Yeah, Kennedy was a revolutionary like Che Guevara. Yeah, Midnight. That was my first impression too. I thought he was somewhere between like 28 and maybe 45. But it could be misleading. It could also be maybe somebody that's in better shape, but might be in their 50s or something along, like that. Because if you notice, the perp, he kind of has this weird lean to the left. Like he might have an ailment in his right arm and maybe his left knee or his hip or something or his back. So in the posture, I can kind of see there might be an age there, but yeah, my first impression is definitely younger. But remember, that's why they wear disguises. They're trying to mislead us. His eyes don't match the perp. Yeah, whose eyes? Servando? I haven't ran him through the gauntlet yet. Maybe we will. Gina G says no, not him. Why they don't cash in then the 1.2 million? Well, maybe they're involved. Like, what do you mean? How do they know? First of all, they probably don't know shit, right? Let's just start with that. They don't know anything. This is probably gibberish. They're speculating, and one of them seems like he's off the rocker a little bit. So they may not know anything. But if they do know something, you have to ask yourself, why would they know anything? That means that they're probably close to the killer. You can't just go around snitching on people that you know and that you're related to. You might not have a long life. What if they find out? Or what if you're connected to the crime in some way? And you're just saying, hey, look, they're never going to find that lady. I know all 3 of the people who went out to Tucson and kidnapped her. 2 of them are dead. 1 might be my brother. Or something like that. Came in late. I will watch the replay. Shout out to the replay crew. If you're part of the replay crew, you know exactly what to do. Drop a comment and I'll get back to you. Sorry we missed you. We have mad love for you, though. But you missed the live stream. That's your fault. Don't blame us. Right? Don't blame us for being on time. But we still love you. And if you guys want to reach me, go to sleuthintuition.com, hit the contact section, grab some merch, go look at some of the FOIA requests that I made. That website was built specifically for all of the public records that I've been paying to get. That way, some of you who are following those cases can have access to those records without having to pay from yourself. Just support the website and my channel, and then you have access. And I'm still building it. It's a really new website. But we got a lot as far as records in there and some really big cases and some good information that previously was never even released to the public that I was able to get through FOIA requests and public records requests and things like that. These bros are strange. I'm not quite sure. I mean, they look like they're just chatting about the case. But some of the things that they say are very specific. Yeah, Miracle. He seems manic. And the only reason we're talking about it is because of what his brother's saying, too. His brother's kind of like backing up what he's saying. Servano says, I would interrogate the care worker for her heart monitor. It's almost like he's just kind of sleuthing around, too. But why is he like, if he's manic, why is he even interested in this case? Like, all he's talking about, right, is all this ritualistic, old, mega religious, and then Nancy Guthrie. That's it. It's Nancy Guthrie, and then all of this weird manic stuff. Makes you wonder, like, why? Why is that all you're talking about? And could that be the profile that we're looking for? Is like somebody that might be manic, have their own strange motive, through those manic eyes. Thank you, Miracle. Donna Phillips, that's looking more like the guy at the front door. It's hard to tell. Found it when he was out searching. Oh, the manhole. Yeah, that's out. I can give you the streets. I think it was First Ave and Orange Grove. And there's a bench there. I think there's even a bus stop that might be there in a pull-off area. Let's see if we got any super chats here. Ooh, super chat. Thank you so much. NJHMS, part of the Sleuth crew. Thank you so much. James and Walter Nash. Something seems very strange and unusual. Can you send me like a brief on that? Like a summary or something? Send it to my email. sleuthintuition@gmail.com or sleuthintuition.com through the contact tab. Yeah, it kind of does. That's the vibe I was getting, River. It's kind of like, and that's why I wanted to run it by you guys. Maybe you can take it in a different direction. Maybe debunk it. Usually that's the best way to do it. That's the best practice. Debunk yourself. And usually you're more, then you can get it out of your way. Push it to the side. But sometimes you might find yourself shocked by coming even closer or finding some factual information proving yourself correct. But I think that's a good practice. Just try to debunk yourself and show all the reasons why you're wrong. Your worst enemy in an investigation, in my opinion, is your bias. Yep, 0 suspects. We don't have a damn clue. James said Nash knows who kidnapped her. Yeah, and I like that theory. That theory, for me, points back at Luke. But if you guys have been working on that theory, send me what you have. Yeah, nighttime dig at the pin drop, maybe even the same morning, right? Go directly from the home. And the reason that you're kind of sitting there so long is you're trying to figure out what to do. Maybe you killed Nancy, or you broke into the home and you didn't realize Nancy was there, right? You thought you saw her leave. And then you kill her, hide the body. Later on, you see on the news that, that she's a high profile person. Maybe you don't do anything. Maybe other people just automatically start asking for that ransom, the hoax ransom. He's not a flight attendant. No, he works for Amazon, according to his Facebook. So I don't know. Maybe he's a trucker. He does have a previous address, actually not too far from me, here in Phoenix. Here, I'll pull up his Facebook and then we'll bounce. Amazon Fulfillment Center is what it says. LaGrange, Kentucky. Digital creator, LaGrange, Kentucky. Amazon Fulfillment Center, Bel Air High School. And interesting enough, his Instagram was taken down. It's no longer there. What the hell? That's interesting. So no more Instagram. His Instagram is bye-bye. Wonder what happened. Nicole says, James, the drunk guy, JLR asked where he works. Well, I looked up that James guy. I don't know if he is anymore, but he's an attorney. Wow, so he lied about working at American. That's interesting. It's a shame James drinks. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of sus too, if you guys ask me. Inserting himself in front of the camera like that and seeming like he doesn't have all his faculties. He kind of fits into a certain type of profile too. Living with another woman makes you a lesbian. What about flat app sharing? What? Living with another woman makes you a lesbian? No, he speaks about the other guy, not James. Yep, pulled his Insta. It's gone. It is gone. Maybe it's just because people are blowing him up. And you believed him. Faraday, there you go. Faraday cage. Hello, Linda. Welcome, welcome. Laney says Amazon. Wow. Can't see him driving. I think James has schizophrenia. Yeah, something's going on. Like, why is he talking about Nancy and then just all this other weirdness? Those are the two things he's talking about. Either it's ultra religious, ritualistic, or Nancy Guthrie. Right? And then everybody was trying to tell me about some kind of like a Wiccan holiday or something that was going on February 1st. Who knows? Just me. You can tell when he fibs. Watch his facial expressions. Christoph, honestly, I don't believe a word they say. What's the point of that? If they know where she is, why don't they just say so? Well, he kind of did. I mean, how much more can you say other than giving the coordinates? But the only problem is he didn't just give the coordinates and say, oh, she's underground, buried, or whatever. He says humanoid category 4 hybrid heirs group on site. Like what? This is like Bob Lazar bizarre. Weird how James thought about it and smirked and said he was a flight attendant. Yeah, that is kind of weird, River. Yeah, James definitely threw up some red flags for me too. Not that that's saying much. Hernandez brothers and Manera brothers connected. Email me. You guys feel free to email me, get a hold of me through my website, whatever. Michael Swanson said from the beginning that somebody close that owns a home in the area has a fallout shelter or bunker. There are many homes that have bunkers and shelters from the Cold War era. I mean, how else are you going to hide her and keep her healthy and out of the public view? And also not have any vehicles seen or license plate readers, or, they weren't seen anywhere. It's almost like they didn't do much traveling. Take the back roads, maybe even go off-road. Bring her into the bunker where you can keep her alive and safe. And if you're a doctor or in the medical field, you'll have, access to medication and stuff. Thanks, Sparky, for holding it down. Donna. He was bashing another attorney. Yep, he sure was. Because if you look him up online, it says he's an attorney. I think maybe even like he was a prosecutor or something at one point. Don't quote me on that one, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he was an attorney. Junebug, what's up? Because he got bombarded with messages. Well, the messages that I've seen were on his Facebook. And that's where I contacted him. And then I also text messaged him on his phone. And his Facebook's still up. He actually posted something this morning. Yes, you can tell he made that up about being a flight attendant. A full moon that night. Yep, that's what I hear. Maybe that could have triggered him. He has an address, I'm telling you, here in Phoenix. It means anything. Some kind of moon thing. Just can't understand why he gave coordinates. Yeah, it's weird. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you for all of you who sponsored today's live stream with the super chats and the super stickers, and those of you who are members of my channel. I appreciate it. If you want to support me further, you can go into the description. You can hit the Cash App, whatever. But whatever you do, make sure you're hitting the like button. And if you're trying to reach me, just go to sleuthintuition.com and hit the contact tab. And you can I read all of those. Every time you submit that through, it comes into a special folder in my email, and I make sure I read them all. And a lot of it is very helpful. So big shout out to you who have been sending me things and trying to help us out and trying to figure out what actually happened to Nancy. I like the bomb shelter theory because to me it tells me that she could still be alive. I also like a theory of like a fifth wheel or some type of like camping trailer, like a Winnebago or some shit like that. Something mobile where she has access to the bathroom, to a nice bed, a refrigerator, a cooked meal. And maybe they're just off grid with her, you know, taking care of her and making sure she's safe. And then when things die down, they can slip a note over to Savannah like, hey, like, seriously this time, like, give me the money. And if you say anything, like, we're going to kill her. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that out of nowhere, they get it resolved and there is no investigation. They get their money. Nancy comes home and then hopefully they get caught later on down the road. I know that that's not likely. It's not realistic considering the facts surrounding this case. But I do like to keep hope alive. But either way, let's keep digging, keep chasing down all weirdness like Servando Sanchez Hernandez and his brother Tootie. Servando and Tootie, holla at your boy. Tell me what's going on with you guys. You guys smoking or you just joking? Either way, let me know. Spooky Moon, good to see you. And Replay Crew, sorry we missed you. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. All right, take care, be safe, and I'll see you later. Peace.